Salutations, kindred. I know it's been quite a bit, but I'm feeling good about getting into the groove of things once more, and hope we won't have such a gap in our conversations again. I know I needed it during the pandemic, but I've missed you. For those of you not on my Patreon, a little background of why this video didn't come sooner is my life shifted unexpectedly. I believe in the long run it will be for the better, but I will admit the rug felt a little pulled out from under me. I've been at my job for the last 5 years, and while it was not an ideal position, I was grateful for it. Especially being able to work remotely during a time where many lost their jobs or were forced to work in unsafe conditions. However, 2 days after a company-wide town hall talking about our roadmap for the next year and how great we were all doing, there were layoffs. Downsizing due to the company maturing and no longer needing all the positions it had when we launched. I was one of these positions. I admit, I was angry at first. I had been on my team the longest, and we'd made great improvements to our operations because of my specific contributions. But ultimately, I worked myself out of the job, and in regards to budget, I know because I'd been there the longest, I would be the most expensive to keep. If you work in technology enough, you know this story is not a unique one, but that doesn't stop it from taking a mental or emotional toll. But the truth is, even though I'm anxious about the uncertainty of what is next, I'm also excited. New adventures await. And what better way to mark a new adventure than with a tasty autumnal drink and a little hearth magic. As you can see, you're going to need a lot of apples. I cut up about 10 apples, 5 Fuji, 5 Granny Smith. I like that bite personally in my cider. I know my cutting technique is not great. Even my cat supervisor did not approve. Apples have represented many a thing in both pagan practices and folklore. But today, we're going to focus on healing, wisdom, fertility, and prosperity. Healing, so that I don't hold on to any lingering anger that will not serve me as I start on this new path. Wisdom, so that I might evaluate my options clearly. Fertility, so that future opportunities might be abundant. And prosperity, that those opportunities be a place for continued growth. If you're new to hearth magic, or just curious about it, in this case, it's about intention. Meditating on these ideas with each cut as I add them into my cauldron. It's trying to find clear pictures in my mind of what exactly each looks like. For instance, when I find that new path, I want it to be one where I feel fulfilled rather than drained at the end of the day. While I know it's not possible to always be excited about your work, for me, I know that it's a place where I have room to be creative, where I'm able to contribute freely, and where I was chosen for a position, not simply because I am a body filling a space, but because they needed me specifically. I also want to be seen and accepted. In my last position, I felt a little stifled. I was the weirdo, not just of my team, but sort of the entire company. Radical optimism or a cheerful demeanor was seen as childish, and I don't think I realized how much a toll that had taken on me. Of course, not everyone needs to share my hobbies or interests, but I want a place I can work where every fact about my personal life isn't given the side eye. After you're done with the apples, you're going to cut up 1 full orange and add the slices, rind and all. Oranges are linked to success and prosperity, but they also carry an uplifting and joyous energy. I want this search to be a happy one, not a chore. And when I find that path, I want it to be a labor of love. After the oranges, you're going to fill your pot with water until it's about an inch or two above the fruit. Remember though, fruit floats, so you're going to want to push it down to check the water level. You don't want too much water or it will dilute the flavor. Now we're going to bring the water to a boil. Turn it down to a simmer and cover it for about an hour. Then you're going to give it a bit of a mash with a potato masher. You want all of the juice out of it that you can. I personally don't add sugar because I think the natural sugars of the fruit are frankly enough, but you can if you'd like. If you are a little worried you put too much water in or just want to supercharge your apple flavor a bit, you can toss in a few of these apple cinnamon herbal infusion tea bags. Just make sure you remove the end paper tag, as you don't want that paper breaking down into your cider. I guess it would add some fiber though. Since there's no actual tea in these, you don't have to worry about temperature of your water, which can make tea bitter if scalded, or how long you let it seep. I let this simmer for about 30 minutes on its own, but you don't have to wait. That's just a personal preference. Now to add the spices. Allspice promotes determination, courage, and energy, and can help draw luck and money. Great for a job hunt. Also delicious. Nutmeg can also bring luck, as well as encourage clear vision in decisions. While cinnamon can be used in spells to draw money, it's often used in healing and protection, as well as added to spells to speed up the action. Anxiety sometimes paralyzes me, so anything to help me being spurred into action is helpful. Cloves attract good luck and prosperity. Please ignore the hair dye stain on my arm. I promise it's not a wound. Cover up your pot again and allow it to simmer once more for an hour's time. Then we're going to turn off the burner and add our final ingredient for the non-alcoholic portion of this drink, and it's some good old pumpkin chai. Chai already incorporates a lot of the spices we've talked about, but it also adds cardamom, which clarifies the mind and may help you turn on some eloquence or charm. Star anise to bring awareness and power, and the pumpkin for a little self-love and prosperity, and the chai itself for strength and fortitude. Here's the thing though, and I'm sorry I didn't film this part, not only are you going to need to turn off the heat, but you want to make sure that the temperature of the liquid does not exceed 212 degrees Fahrenheit before doing this. That's 100 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, you risk scalding your tea leaves and adding a very bitter flavor to your drink. If your thermometer says it's above that, wait a few minutes, check again, and repeat until it's lowered. I'd say around 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees Celsius is an ideal temperature. Just as we don't want to scald the leaves to prevent bitterness, we also don't want to oversteep them for the same reason. We're going to pop a few of these in there and set a timer for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, we're going to fish out the tea bags first. I have a small little strainer I went fishing with. If you have an easier way to strain the mixture, like a thin hole colander in a bowl, please go for that. If you have to go the more labor-intensive route like me, get the tea bags out first. All of them. Again, we don't want to oversteep. I don't recommend my method here, but I worked with what I had. Or what I didn't have, to be precise. If you want this drink hot, you can serve it pretty immediately after it's been strained. When I filmed this, the chill had yet to set in, so we went with an iced version of the drink. I also added a healthy portion of Rebel Yell bourbon to the carafe as well as the ice. Whiskey and bourbon sometimes are used as a base for potions intended to promote change or transformation, but this drink works fine without it. Here is to a bright future, friends. May we take it together. Keep on the windy side of care, and until next time, stay curious.